Hi, Charles here. Well, normally I'm staring into the sun when I start filming in the morning. It's going to be kind of a gray day today, but it's supposed to get to 68. So I'm waiting for Susie to get back from Columbus. Had a quick trip to make, and we're working on the shiplap. I think we have to build a shelf for the microwave. We made some changes that I'll show you that affect the wiring. So today I just wanted to do a quick little overview of how the wiring is done in this particular van. I had someone ask if I would do that on one of my live YouTube chats a couple weeks ago. So whoever you are, this is for you, and thanks for watching. A year ago, none of this was on my radar. It was only after we went camping to Colorado last year, and we decided, and I decided that I just wasn't using my F-150, and I'd been looking at van builds, especially transits, for about a year, kind of thinking, oh, that'd be a cool thing to do. I wonder if I could do that. So I made up my mind when we came back home to trade it, and we found a great deal. My son-in-law found this van for us at Midwest Van Sales in Greensburg. Great place to get a van. They sell all over the nation, 34,000 miles. And so immediately I'm envisioning how I want this to work. And as I said in the intro, I kept it quite simple in the Runaway. So we are the average camper, and the average camper really is the kind of person who, whatever kind of RV or vehicle or tent, whatever they have, they tend to do some weekend camping trips, basically in good weather. And then they might do one long trip of a week or two because they're still working and, you know, vacation time. When you get to retired people, then you're in our category, and I'll be 70 this fall. We are just wanting to do that, but a bit more. I've already planned a trip to Rocky Mountain National Park, again, third year in a row, in September, and I may tie the Tetons in with that one, and then we're actually going to go in June to Colorado, maybe Utah. Haven't worked that one out yet, but I do have reservations already in September at Rocky Mountain at Glacier Basin Campground. Really like that place. And so at those national parks, you don't have shore power. You don't have it when you're at a Cracker Barrel or a rest area. And so how do you take care of things? Well, that's where Ecoflow comes in with the lithium batteries. This is the max. And so I think with the extra battery on here, this one's like 576. I've got two Deltas that are 1300 that are 1400 watt with a surge of 1800 or so. I can run microwave, coffee pot, and all that. Induction plate. The only thing you wouldn't really be able to run with these all-in-ones, unless you got one gigantic one, would be like a ceramic heater that's 1500 watts. And we tend not to camp in super cold weather anyway, but we have a heated mattress pad that really keeps us very warm, and so we're fine. And again, we are at shore power, I'd say at least half the time, so we then can run that little heater. And so let me bring you in close here and show you how I put together this simple system. And it just, some of the wiring changed yesterday as we were preparing to put on the shiplap. So let me real quickly show you that. So it all starts here. I was going to put in an outlet just for a regular, household plug. But then a friend of mine convinced me I should go 30 amp. I don't see us ever putting air conditioning in this, but it's ready. If we ever sold it, it would be wired for it. So I got this waterproof, marine grade quality inlet. And then this plug, this is to plug into our regular outlet. And then I've got a long cord that's a 30 amp cord. So cut a hole, sealed it, no problems. I like how it screws in nice and tight, waterproof. So that's where it all starts. Okay, before I go any farther, I do want to tell you that it's highly recommended that all the wire that you use in the van, every bit, should be stranded. So for example, I get this from Lowe's. It's Southwire, a national brand. And this is 14 gauge stranded wire. And you want stranded because you're moving a lot, and if you use regular household wire that's solid core, it can break eventually, and it very well may, especially if you go a ton of miles, and then you could have things shorting out and a fire. With stranded, even if one or two of those break, you still have a solid connection going through there, and it's more flexible. So I typically get this red and black. Some of it's red and green. They ran out of the black, but red. It's red and black, red and green. I use them the same. And so again, I don't do total how-tos on wiring because I want you to be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, I don't want you to get shocked, and then you come back unhappy with me because you died. Okay, so we have the shore power coming in. It's either going to be 30 amp coming in if I'm at a place that has the 30 amp in the power pedestal there at the campground, or just regular 110. Either way, it's coming in here, and this is a ground fault. It's 10 gauge wire going from that inlet, that 30 amp inlet, and they strongly urge you to get 10 gauge. So it's 10 gauge, but it is stranded. I made sure to get stranded, and it was a little hard to work with, but I got it in there. This is ground fault, so that means anything plugged into this, and everything will be running from this that powers anything on either side, will be ground fault protected. Even the one that's by the cargo sliding door, there's an outlet there that's on the side that could you know, if it was raining, we weren't watching what we were doing, it could get wet. It's ground fault protected. Super important, of course. So power comes in here, and I'm really thankful that it will be covered by the bed platform. But I use plus nuts, and so I have bolts running in those inserts, all those plus nuts. So last night I pulled this back a little bit because I replaced this wire. This sends power to the where the cooking area is for the microwave, and the induction plate, and the coffee pot, and if I want to plug in the ice-cold fridge freezer into regular outlet, I can do that. So we changed the position of the microwave, so I needed a longer wire. So I pulled this back and then put it back in. Once again, here we go with flexible, and I didn't think I had a plug, but I may use this plug. So I'll get this on. And so what we've got is, here comes our power, and then I've got my fuse block. And so as I showed you, I use 14 gauge wire. You want to label. It's real important that you do that. I mean, you could eventually run down what you've done if you lose a label on these wires, but all these wires are sent to various places, mainly for puck lights, and I will show you the puck lights for the USB ports. I had one here, I thought. Anyway, here's the puck lights. Oh, there it is. Puck lights. I hate that they use such thin wire, but that's what they use because it uses so little power. So I have altogether 10 of these puck lights, group of 6, group of 4. I have a pair of wires running to 1, 2, 3, 4 places will have these. Very simple, just red and black. There you go. It's got a switch, on and off switch, a 12-volt plug, and a voltmeter on. Oh, excuse me, this one doesn't have voltmeter. This one has 2 USB ports. So I'm going to have one by the head of each bed, one by the bed in the kitchen sink cabinet facing out, and then one on the other side of the cooking kitchen cabinet facing the front seat. And so for those, so I just have pairs of wires running to them. You know, people make a huge deal about, you know, you need to hide them back in the cavities, and you know, make sure that you cover them so they don't get scraped. I've got some of my wires actually running right under this Reflectix because I've got mineral wool, and then I've got some of these wires running underneath here, and it's just fine. It's not huge power running through there, and so again, everything's marked, and I just have to keep track of where the wires are going to. Okay, so here's the fuse block. So all those are coming in to the fuse block. I'm going to get all detailed about this, but pop this off. It's got fuses, the positive and negative, and so what I've got is I have this cord here hooked to the positive and negative of this fuse block, and this plugs into one of my Ecoflow units. Typically it'll be a delta, one of the deltas, because I have 2 of those. And so when I plug that in and turn it on, the 12-volt DC, it's now sending power. So if I would plug this in right now, I would hear a beep because my fan does that. Whenever the power comes on, you hear this little beep, and it's saying, you know the power's there, push the button, off you go, it's running. Other things don't come on, you know, unless you turn them on. So that's how I'm powering things. And I get people saying, well, what about the total amps and this and that? And I go, well, I'm fortunate because I've got several units, but I won't be running the microwave and the coffee pot, for example, probably at the same time. If I wanted to, I would just yank one of these deltas or one of the others out and just take it down there and plug in the coffee pot directly. So I'm not worried about all the amps. And then I actually have a different brand of a small 160 volt watt little all in one, and I use that one sometimes just next to the refrigerator. So if we get out and go to Walmart or we're on a hike, I just take that little one, plug in the refrigerator. It'll run for many hours because it's so efficient, the refrigerator is, by IceCo. So this is sending power mainly to those USB. But I don't want to get ahead of myself here. But so if I'm in shore power, these are the outlets are active from this. So this cord I plug in, and it sends power through a cord that goes around into that wall. And over here on this side, this opposite side right over here, is another outlet. I'll show a picture. It's just a regular outlet since it resides in the wall inside the box. And I think I'll probably drill a hole here so you can run in an extension cord, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that. Piggybacking off that outlet, which is just a standard house outlet. I had one right here a second ago. Yeah, here we go. Just a standard outlet. Piggybacked off of this is another wire that goes to the front, and that sends power to the outlet that's on the side of the kitchen sink cabinet, which also has one of these panels as well. It keeps disappearing on me. One of these panels. Okay. The same thing is being done in the cooking cabinet. One of these and a regular outlet. Okay. And I just keep looking down like you can't see. There we go. So this will be on the side of both of the cabinets that we got from Home Depot. Okay, so those will be available. So we send power to those by plugging this in, and then when I get the plug on this one, plug this in, power that way. This sends power this way. Okay. Then what about the 12-volt stuff? Well, the 12-volt stuff, all those wires again are coming to the fuse box. It's got fuses here, and what I did was I use 14-gauge wire. And then I use ring terminals, and they fit perfectly on these little studs. Tighten them down, you're good. So everything is in pairs, and it's got the negative up here. So this is a blue C's, and I think it's 12. You can do 12 circuits. So that's what's going on here. But what if I'm off of shore power? Well, then what I can do, instead of plugging this or this, and I wouldn't necessarily need both, I can then take this cord and this cord and plug it into one of the outlets. On this one, on this River Max, it's got 3. On the Delta, it's got 6. And so I could plug these into that Delta, and it would power these outlets. And again, I would be smart about how to run things all at the same time, but you've got a lot of leeway with the Delta. Now, I know what some are saying. Well, when you plug this into these outlets, the inverter kicks in, and there's some overhead. It uses a little extra power. Yeah, and with the Delta, it's got so much power. I'm good. Okay. Again, 50, 75, at least 50% of the time, we're on shore power anyway. So, and we typically camp in good weather. So I don't have to, I'm not running air conditioning, even though I do have a zero breeze portable air conditioner. The fan and the vent work so great. So shore power, run from here. No shore power, and I need to run some things with the outlet. I can plug into the Delta, or again, I can just pick up a Delta or one of the River Pro, just take it over there and plug in that induction plate or plug in that microwave. Excuse me. We're not going to run the microwave for long periods of time, but the Deltas can absolutely run it. The Delta actually ran the air conditioner in my runaway camper for 6.5, 7 hours in some pretty hot weather. So I got a big piece of shiplap here. Susie wanted to put it up last night, but it was just getting too late, and I said, let's wait till tomorrow. And we may be held up a little bit because the kitchen cabinet, cooking cabinet's right here. And so originally I had a red wire running right here to have an outlet for the microwave. Then we decided, well, the refrigerator's right here, there's an empty space above, and so we didn't want to be kind of jammed in there with that microwave in our face. So we're actually going to shift it over. I don't know if it's going to be all the way over, but it's going to be over quite a bit. Sitting up here, it's going to be a small one, like a 700-800 watt microwave. So we need to figure out a shelf today, and I know I've got plus nuts behind here. I got them here so I can have a frame. I can pull these bolts out and get longer ones, and just a little bit longer, to hold a frame that will be the basis for the shelf right here for the microwave. So as a result of moving that over, I was very happy, because at that point I started pulling wire. So I found that I had a long enough piece of wire. So here's the end that you saw down there that needs the plug. And so this was going to come out over here as a 12-volt plug, just a 12-volt plug. I don't even think I was going to use a panel for the ice coat, for the refrigerator. Well, I pulled it because now this is going to go inside the cabinet. And as I said, an outlet, a regular outlet, will be here on this side, and then one of those USB panels that I can plug things in. So it's simple. I don't have to do anything up there. Okay? And so I've got my outlet here. Coffee pot can just reach down and plug in. The microwave, the cord will reach down to plug in to the outlet. So it really solved a lot of issues. And again, plus nuts really make things easy if you need to pull, get back in, and then tighten it right back in. And with plus nuts, you are rock solid. So that's what's going on here. And here's those red and green. And these two, this is labeled, it says 12-volt fridge. Now it's going to be a USB panel right here. So I'll just I'll mark that one down there again. It's already marked on the front of the fuse panel with stickers. So that's what's going on. And then I have a 12-volt pair here, and this is where there'll be a USB panel at the on this side of the cabinet for whoever's sleeping here, and the same thing will happen over there. So we'll both have a place to plug in, maybe plug in a USB light, gooseneck light, or even a USB fan if we want a little fan blowing right on our face. But with this, so I've already told you about this, but there's a outlet down there, and piggybacked off is this cord, which will go to a standard outlet, along with one of these cords here will feed the USB panel that will be on that's already installed in that cabinet going this way. All right. Then there'll be the sink, and there'll be gray tank in there. We're not going underneath. And then here is where the bed platform opens up and it has the shower. Okay. So we've got our USB, and so there'll be a USB panel here for someone sleeping here that can do the light or the fan and all that kind of stuff. So we just ran the wires behind the walls, marked them, and you're good to go. Let me show you the ceiling, and that should wind it up. So let's talk the puck lights. Group of 6 here, group of 4 up there where the camera is. And so what I did was I ran a pair, and what I did was I just kind of looped around. I think with this one, trying to remember, I probably did some zip tying up here, but however you do it, tape it. I use a lot of the silver tape probably to hold it down along insulation up there, but however I did it, however you can route it is fine. So again, I brought up the wire and came across before I put all this on, and this is the end of this circuit. Okay, I guess it's the circuit. I don't know why I keep quoting circuit. And so the wire actually comes in, I believe, right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it terminates here. And yesterday I hooked up the light, had the battery, it came on. So what's happening is this is being fed back over here, and I've got right here, I just twisted them because I haven't put that dimmer switch in yet, but the wires they have to go to the switch. So it's going to the switch for the dimmer, and then from the dimmer it goes down into the fuse block, and the fuse block, that's where it gets its power from one of the Ecoflows. Okay, and so that's how that works. And then the 4 up here, I've got 1, 2, you might be able, I don't know if you can see these 2, but there's 4 here as you walk in, and that wire, that pair of wires, that loop of wires is coming down here, and it will hook up to one of those panels that has a switch on it. And so when you walk in, you can turn the switch on, and these 4 lights come on, and they are not dimmed. The cooking area, we were going to put puck lights, but I think now we're not. I think we may just put some battery operated or a real simple LED strip kind of thing and plug it into a USB port. We'll see how that works, but it won't be a problem. So that's basically how the wiring works. I'm just looping it around. I give myself plenty because I'm going to cut these and come into the puck light both ways, so it keeps sending the circuit around till it gets to the last one, and then it's going to the switch over here, going to the switch over here. And so I hope that's helpful. It's it was very intimidating to me. But the more I worked with it, I just saw it's really just running pairs of wires and getting them hooked up to the fuse block correctly. And again, stranded wire, stranded wire, stranded wire. Please don't use any solid wire anywhere in here. I thought about it when I was bringing in the 30 amp, but I thought, no, if any place is shaking, it's right there. So good luck with it. And as I always say, if you're not sure, especially the 110 coming in, if you're not sure about that, don't do it. I have a simple thing from Southwire, I think it's called, and it plugs in. It's got 3 lights, and it tells you if you're not grounded or if it's not wired properly. So if you do put outlets like I did, the first thing I did as soon as I had power coming in, I plugged that tester in. And some people use a voltmeter too, but I put that tester into the plug, into the outlet, and it showed me instantly that I was correct. So I knew everything was right, but you want to verify for sure. So that is it, and good luck with your wire. Thanks for watching.